Good morning, everybody, and thank you for being here. I'm Brian Fisher, and I'm the manager of the Prince George's County Police Department of Media Relations. Before we get started today, we are going to have a very special signing of a partnership, and we're here today to talk about partnership in our county with our county executive, our chief of police, and our sheriff. Before we begin, we're going to have a signing of the partnership agreement.
With the authorization of the county executive, the Prince George's County Police Department is entering into a memorandum of understanding, or should I say re-entering into a memorandum of understanding, whereas the Prince George's County Sheriff's Department, under the leadership of Sheriff Carr, will assist the Prince George's County Police Department with domestic violence calls for service in Districts 3 and 8. We're grateful for the sheriff for the partnership and grateful for the county executive for her vision. And ma'am, if I could ask you to sign first.
Of course, of course. Thank you.
And Deputy Chief Administrative Officer Powell, if you could sign second, sir. I will sign third. And Sheriff Carr, if you could make it official, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
As part of our Domestic Violence Awareness Month, we're joined today, as you can see, by our County Executive Aisha Braveboy, Chief of Police George Nader, and Sheriff John D.B. Carr. We're here today to talk about this brand new partnership and have the information given to you all about resources available provided by our County Executive for Prince George's County for victims of domestic violence. Our Chief of County Executive.
So what I was going to say is that I know that our sheriff, who is a tremendous partner to us, will be speaking at the conclusion. He'll be one of our last speakers today. So we may want to just start off by talking about the crime stats and why we're here today to kind of go over the progress that we all have made together with respect to crime in Prince George's County. As you know, I'm the former state's attorney, and so crime and statistics and dealing with issues of public safety have been near and dear to me for the past over 6 years. And in my current role, while I'm no longer state's attorney trying cases and handling it from that angle, we are working hand in hand with our state's attorney's office, along with our sheriff's department, and several of our municipal partners are here today. So I want to give our municipal partners a round of applause as well. When I became county executive, I committed to not going it alone with respect to reducing crime and addressing issues of public safety, that it's a team effort. And that the Prince George's County Police Department would operate in a way that would ensure that we had active partners working with us every single day. And I am proud to say that with the support of our municipal agencies, our sheriff's department, our state's attorney's office, we are a safer county today. We are a safer county today. And so I'm very proud of that. As many of you know, we still grapple with issues. Unfortunately, we lost a young person, a teenager, over the weekend in a shooting death in Greenbelt. And we are assisting Greenbelt Police in the investigation of that very horrible and tragic case. But we are looking at the progress that we're making in every area. And while we are, our hearts go out to that young boy, his family, his friends, the community, we also know that, we can't prevent every single tragedy. We want to, but we can't. But what we can do is create an environment where those type of incidents, if and when they do occur, they're investigated properly, that the individuals responsible are held accountable, and that they're prosecuted effectively. And that's what we can guarantee here in Prince George's County. I can tell you that since the beginning of the year, we have seen an overall reduction in violent crime of 22%, which includes a 57% reduction in carjackings and a 32% reduction in homicides. That is significant. I think we can all give ourselves a round of applause for those numbers. And I am confident with the collaboration that we have with our municipal agencies, with the renewed partnership with our sheriff's office, with our state's attorney's office, with all of the command staff of the Prince George's County Police Department. You probably can't see them right now, all of them, but these are, I think, really the finest group of men and women that I know. They put their lives, their hearts, they put everything into this job, and that job is to keep our community safe, and they've done a great job. And I want to give you and your troops a round of applause as well. So thank you all for the work that you do. But I'm going to turn the mic now over to our chief. He is going to really talk in detail about the statistics and the categories of crime where we've seen the reduction and where we see opportunities to continue to drive down crime. But I can tell you, we are using technology, we're using intelligence. We are in really good shape when it comes to fighting crime here in Prince George's County, as evidenced by the statistics and the partnerships that you see before you today. So, Chief, I'll turn the mic to you.
Thank you, Madam County Executive. So some of the numbers that I wanted to discuss a little bit today is overall robberies are down 49%. So that's in addition to the carjackings being down 57%. Total violent crime, as the county exec stated, down 22%. When we look at our property crimes, we're also seeing reductions in those areas. Those are down 14%. So property crime down 14%. Total crime reduction is 16%. One of the things that I'll say as we enter into the holiday season, an area that we think we can get some movement on is theft from autos. So we need the community's help with that. And what that looks like is locking your belongings up. Make sure you lock your car doors. Make sure that when you go shopping, you put your bags in your trunk and don't leave things visible to those that might want to come in and steal your items. So these are some of the initiatives that we'll pass out flyers as we do our holiday initiative in our various shopping centers. So we think that that's going to help. One of the initiatives that further elaborates the partnership that we have with the municipal agencies and even our counterparts in the District of Columbia is the Blue Lights Nights. So we did an initiative in Prince George's County where every one of these chiefs put additional resources out there. The sheriff put additional resources out there. We put additional resources out there. Maryland State Police put additional resources out there. And Metropolitan Police put additional resources out there. We were in Metropolitan Police Crime Center, so everybody knew what was happening in the region. This is something that we do often. But on this night, we had over 20 community events, 2 very successful movie nights. I wish you guys could have came out to that because it was really nice for us to share that time with our community. But we reduced crime year to year by approximately 30% just in those 2 days. And then from the weekend before to that weekend, same, right around 30% reduction in crime. We had no fatal accidents during those 2 nights, so no lives were lost in Prince George's County. So we're proud of that, and thank you for the partnership. With that, domestic violence is one of these things that typically, It's something that is often, but we want to reach out to our community and say there's help for you if you're the victim of domestic violence. We are seeing a bit of a spike in non-contact shootings for domestic violence, where we were 10 last year, we were 7 last year, we're at 10 now. So what we're just trying to highlight is when you're in a volatile relationship, it typically is not going to get better without some kind of intervention. We have that intervention in Prince George's County. We have people that can assist you. You just need to reach out to us and let us know. And that's why I'm grateful for the partnership with the sheriff. It's going to allow us to get the calls faster. It's going to allow us to keep more police officers out in the street doing proactive patrols. And it's going to just create a streamline for the other services that we have in Prince George's County in these 2 districts. So for that, Sheriff, I thank you. And I would like to turn it over to you, sir.
Good morning, everybody. And first, let me start by saying I want to thank our county executive, Braveboy, 1, for your leadership, 2, for this collaborative effort along with Chief Nader. You guys have definitely hit the ground running. And as we talk about partnerships and what we do here in Prince George's County, you can care less about what uniform somebody is wearing. You just want help, and you just want to see the results and make sure that our community is safe. So this, going back into our MOU and our memorandum of understanding for domestic violence, highlights the month of October when we talk about Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We just recently celebrated our 12th annual Purple Light Night, which we always talk about education. We talk about resources in domestic violence here in Prince George's County. Going back into this agreement, and actually the sheriff's office running calls in the central part of the county means a lot, as it's just not us as far as the sheriff's office, it is also dealing with the courts. We have a wonderful facility here in Prince George's County with our Family Justice Center, ran by Dr. McCain, who actually works hand in hand with a lot of our nonprofit organizations, such as CAFI, CCSI, 988. So these are the programs in which we were going to be bringing to our citizens, and to make sure that they're able to know, be educated, and actually receive the assistance that they need. The survivors, and looking at our statistical information, just last month alone, we were at 1,348 protective orders. What we are still seeing is a lot of not intimate partners, but family violence. That's still happening between, loved ones in their home. We're dealing with quite a bit as we start to get into the holidays, as the stress of financial pressures, folks dealing with the mental stress of maybe losing a loved one as the holidays are starting to come up. We understand that's when our numbers typically grow. But this partnership and collaborative effort, not only with just the police department, but also our municipal partners and everybody here, it means that our citizens can actually get the resources that they need, and that we can be proactive and not reactive. And that's our biggest thing, is to be proactive. How can we be more efficient and effective serving you, going out and educating, not only just educating, but also providing those resources where you are at the time. We have to meet you where you are. And this is just one step. So I want to say thank you again, County Executive Braveboy, Chief Nader, and all our municipal chiefs. Thank you so much for working hand in hand. I'm just very excited as we move into 2026, exactly what we're going to accomplish, and the statistical information that we can show you that this does work. Thank you.
And the county executive said it, but I'll reiterate. Being a police commander in Prince George's County is a 24/7 job. These men and women back here respond to incidents around the clock. They manage incidents around the clock. Regardless of what's going on in their personal life, they take the time to serve the citizens in this community. And if it not for their efforts, we would not be where we are. So I do want to thank you all. With that, we have the Deputy Chief Administrative Officer for Public Safety, Melvin Powell, here, and I would like to invite him up, as he's tasked with keeping us all together and making sure we're all on the same page, and just to hear a couple words from him, sir.
Good morning. As Sheriff Carr stated, first and foremost, I want to thank our county executive for giving me the opportunity to serve in this current position. When we talk about the numbers, I just want to make sure that the community understands this is just not an opportunity for us to bring numbers to you to talk about statistics. This is also an opportunity for us to tell you that we are committed to continue to do what we've committed to do in the past. We have never declared victory on our war against crime, and we haven't done this in this particular situation. What we have done is decided to come before you to let you know that we will never stop doing what we've sworn to do, protect and serve. In my 31 years as a Prince George's County police officer, I've never seen this type of collaboration. Never seen the officers come together the way they are now, and we're committed to continue to do that, to make sure that we give you what you've elected us to do and what we've committed to do in the past. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Now, the moment you all have been waiting for, questions. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm wearing two hats. I'm also asking a question for someone under 44. My question is, you have numbers for domestic violence so far this year, homicides and how they compare to last year, and kind of what we're looking at there. And then for Telemundo, they're asking if there's been a decrease in calls for the immigrant community, and you're experiencing your immigration enforcement along the domestic violence issue for overall. Are you seeing a drop in calls? I don't know if you can measure.
Yeah, so across the county, we have not seen a drop in calls. We still about at the same average, but we haven't isolated that to specific communities because we are such a diverse county. It's kind of hard to tell where these communities are. We know where there may be a higher immigrant population, but we have not looked at that number. But I believe it's something we could do.
Would you feel that there is fear in people reporting things given the enforcement?
I think that we're definitely in a challenging time, and I've seen it in the face of our community members. So I know that they're feeling it, but I would hope that it doesn't. The one thing that I reiterate anytime I go out, we've met with a lot of our nonprofit organizations. Prince George's County Police Department does not enforce immigration law. So our community is safe calling us. We're not going to ask them what their status is. We're going to provide them with the best police service that we absolutely can.
And as far as domestic violence, so far this year, you have like those numbers?
Yes. Yeah. So we are actually down in domestic violence, assaults, 23%, but the violent assaults is what we're seeing. So that escalation is happening and people are being more violent towards one another. And it's not driven by gender because it's on both sides. So what we just need is for people to understand is when you're in that hard place, and if your family member is in that hard place, sometimes they don't see an avenue out and they need help. We have that help available. We can come in and do it. Don't give up on your family member. Oftentimes what happens is the family sees what's happening and they just get so frustrated with trying to deal with the person. But what we need to understand is that person is going through a lot. It's not only physical, it's mental. So we need you to keep pushing and get them the resources that they need because there is a way out of domestic violence situations.
Maybe it's down overall 10%.
Yes. Assault, others.
One spike up there.
Yes.
Why is it, what are you guys finding when you go to these calls? Why is it, what's happening? Why is that category of crime stubbornly not declining where the other categories are?
So I think domestic violence is nothing new. It's been prevalent for years. I think what our goal is to educate people on it, to educate people to understand when you're in that cycle of domestic violence, sometimes the victim doesn't understand what they're going through. And this could be for our children. This could be teenagers, and this could be married couples or dating couples. We see it all the time. It's one of those things that in our society has not yet come to the forefront. People don't come and say, hey, I am a domestic violence victim as much as we would want them to. So for us, we have to do a better job educating our communities.
And what I will also say is that I think what we have done in Prince George's County is make it easier for victims to come forward intimate partner victims, but also family violence victims. And that oftentimes is driven by mental health, drug addiction, and other issues. That's why it's so important that we have a partner like the Sheriff's Office, because when they respond to these calls, they respond differently. They can spend more time with the family. They can follow these cases through the court system and really be a stronger partner with the victim and with the family. So we recognize that domestic violence is this really a broad, somewhat of a broad category, because it involves, yes, intimate partner, but it can also involve siblings, can involve parents and children, different types of familial relationships. And when officers respond, they're responding to the call. I think when the sheriffs respond, they can respond a little bit more to the issue by the nature of their what they do and their responsibilities to our courts. So Sheriff Carr, if you could also speak to that issue.
Yes, just to speak to the issue. Okay, I want to make sure everybody can hear. Just to speak to that issue, as you talk about some certain demographics and part of the county, what we have seen as far as the Hyattsville Courthouse, which is district court statewide, ran by the state, you start to see that our Latino community, we don't see as many filings as we used to before, and that is because of some advice. But to Chief Nader's point, when you talk about calls for service, that may still be the same. And this is the reason why this collaboration is so important, because we see different things. And the only way that we're going to be able to address this is that we actually attack it in different ways. So what we see is from the court's perspective, the court filings. So a lot of time in domestic violence, it may be a call for service or it may not be a call for service, but a person may go to the commissioner's office or go to the courts and file for a peace, a protective order, an emergency petition. This is where we get involved. And what we're trying to do is actually be more proactive and respond from the beginning so that we're dealing with it. When it comes to the courts, the judges actually have additional information. We're able to then utilize our Family Justice Center and have them to be a part of this issue and problem. And a lot of the issues what we're talking about, and Madam County Executive made mention to it, is really dealing with mental health. We're starting to see mental health is definitely on the rise. And in order for us to try to address these issues all in one, it's going to take not one agency, but all of our agencies to work hand in hand. So we each play a part into that. So what we are seeing as far as our filing numbers, as far as the peace and protective orders, we're seeing that is starting to increase, especially our peace orders. And that's something to where you would have a neighbor or anybody who's not intimate partners or blood related. We're starting to see those issues and those problems. And that's where we want to try to address and work with those issues. Biggest or second biggest category that we have as far as criminal warrants is second degree assault. And that actually ranges right now around 1,800. So those are some of the things that we want to work with. Our biggest category when we talk about criminal warrants, 13,000 failure to appear traffic related offenses. So for the most part, Prince George's County is safe. We're actually trying to address and deal with some of the smaller issues, especially from the judicial branch, as far as how can we actually get our folks resources and what they need. But that second biggest category of second degree assaults is something that we really want to focus on and try to address and deal with.
I got to ask you about the Snyder Super case. It's no longer pending, unless you appeal it. But $2.35 billion tax dollars going out the door following what happened a few years ago. You know, there was a press conference yesterday with the lawyers and Chief Nader talking about the culture of the department. Can you address those?
So what I say to that is it's still in litigation, so it is still ongoing. So I'm not sure if it's still active. So the case is not settled as of today. So with that, we'll look at what happened during that administration, and we'll see if there's things we need to correct. But once it gets through the entire legal process.
Yeah, and let me just say this: Chief Nader is here, Assistant Chief Nichols is here because we needed a change in culture in the Prince George's County Police Department. We have that today, and I'm proud of the leadership that we have here in Prince George's County. I'm proud that they came up through the ranks of Prince George's County. They respect the men and women of all races, genders, creed, and sexual orientation in this department. We have a leader and leadership here that has zero tolerance for any level of discrimination. I'm not suggesting that's what happened in this case. I'm just saying that we are not going to pretend that there were not issues with this department. But coming in as a county executive, I understood my assignment. And that's why the leadership is where it is today. And that's why we're seeing the results we're seeing today. Thank you. I think that's, yes.
Wanda, Washington Post.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask a question to you. Two questions, actually. You just said that Prince George's County has made it easier for victims to come forward. What were those steps that you guys began to make it easier?
Yeah.
And my second question was, just talked about there have been 10 intimate partner homicides this year in Prince George's County. And after many of these
When you say intimate part, I think it's domestic violence, and that covers a range.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, in those kinds of situations, there's often press conferences, even like some where you said that, after these kinds of cases, we often think, what is Prince George's County thinking, doing, and planning to bring those numbers down?
So let me just say this, that's one of the reasons why we have re-entered this very important partnership that lapsed under the prior administration. We brought it back because we understood the importance of having the sheriff's office involved in domestic violence cases. Again, when they get these cases, they can actually hold the hand of the victim through the entire process. They can work with the families. They have more time to spend, more resources. They work very collaboratively with our Family Justice Center. Ways that we have made, when I say it easier, I think meaning we have made it more available. People know that they can come to Prince George's County and get help. So the Family Justice Center is a big part of that. In addition to that, when I was state's attorney, I think I've held several press conferences and several outreach events during Domestic Violence Awareness Month to make it, available for people who want to come to these events to tell their stories, to get help on the spot. They are also, this is in large part due to the partnership we have with the media. You all cover these issues, and that's important to us because you all help us get the message out about the resources available for victims of domestic violence, and you all help us to educate people on what domestic violence looks like. It's not just intimate partner. It is these familial relationships that sometimes I think were not reported because people were embarrassed to talk about violence committed against them by, let's say, their child or a sibling or someone who's a blood relative. But we have taken away any stigma on reporting those issues. And so we're very proud of that. We're very proud of that. We want every victim to feel empowered here in Prince George's County.
Yes, because this partnership is one of the reasons that the county is trying to bring these cases down. But what do you say to victims of domestic violence or even families of victims of domestic violence who have been killed in these instances? We have to say to those people who say that it's actually the court that might be, mishandling or not understanding the severity of strangulation, domestic violence, and keep things
Right.
moving behind.
Well, let me just say, when I was state's attorney, I went to the General Assembly and was able to, pass a law that made strangulation a first-degree felony offense. And we got pretty significant time in our court systems for victims of strangulation, up to, I believe, 18 years. Those cases are now considered felonies, and as a result, those individuals who are charged are typically held without bond by the court system in efforts to protect victims. But again, some of these cases, and we would have to analyze each one of them, they're not just these intimate partner strangulation cases. A lot of these cases are people who have mental health issues, living in a family the family doesn't have a place for them really to go, which is another one of the reasons why, I've committed to working on building a long-term treatment facility for individuals with mental health issues. That's a long-term strategy. So we do need to do things in the short term, like what we're doing now with our partnership with the sheriff's office. But we have to realize that there are people who cannot live safely in a home. And it's not because they don't love their family member. It's really because they cannot deal with whatever they're handling mentally. That it's just something that they're never going to be able to have a normal familial relationship. And so they need long-term treatment and care. We have to be able to offer that here in the county. And so that's something we're working on. But in the meantime, we have nonprofit partners. We have our sheriff's office. And that, Sheriff, can you talk about the work that you've done around mental health?
Yes, and I'll even go even for mental health and domestic violence, as Madam County Exec said, we're talking about streamlining these processes, because when you're going through a domestic and you're somewhat dealing with mental health as well, the resources are there. Are you actually being able to take advantage of those resources? When you do take advantage of those resources, are you talking to 2 and 3 and 4 different other agencies that now I'm reliving that same trauma that I'm going through? And then once I actually tell you exactly what's happening and what's going on with my family, are I actually going through this whole process? When you talk about domestic violence, we can't dictate if somebody's going to follow this process all the way through. We have to be there in support, not to judge, and to make sure that those individuals know that they have the support of every agency here in Prince George's County. Madam County Exec has the saying of elevate Prince George's County. We're trying to elevate our citizens to understand that we understand the past, but this is the future. And we're working together in a collaborative effort to make sure that you don't have to keep going over from this agency and we refer you to another agency, then you go to another agency. We're trying to streamline that process. And that's the important part of our Family Justice Center, that intake portion. And one thing that we're working with them is actually having them inside of the court. So once you leave the courtroom, you're actually already starting that intake. So you're working with the sheriff's office, you're working with our Family Justice Center. That intake form is completed right then and there. The nonprofits and other organizations, also with the Prince George's County Police, as they have their detectives over at the Family Justice Center, we're all working right then and there. So before you leave that building, you should have already been able to talk to several of the different organizations and not have to keep telling your story. Here's a telephone number. I need you to call this for that time frame. So that's what we're trying to do, is streamline that process. But I want to make sure everybody understands we can't dictate who actually utilizes the resources. We just have to make sure once the resources are given, that we are effective and we are efficient to make sure we do what we say we do. And that's, again, something that we are making sure that we're better at, and we're making sure that we work hand in hand together. So if there is an issue or problem, we can address it right then and there and not kick the can down the road.
Sheriff, since you're redirecting some of your resources for this partnership, is that going to create any shortcomings or issues for your department doing what it typically does?
So I'm glad you asked that question. When you say redirect, we've always had a domestic violence intervention division because we are responsible and primary for serving all the peace and protective orders throughout the county. So this, again, is just something that we're adding on to that. If I have to go to a home to serve a protective order or a peace order, trust and believe 9 times out of 10, it was already a call for service. So now we can actually be there in the beginning, understand exactly what we're dealing with. So when it is referred to the courts, we now have a better understanding and know what resources need to be given to those individuals or to those in that situation.
Thank you all. We really appreciate your time and that you came out. And, I think this is something that we're asking all our communities to take a stand against domestic violence. If you have a loved one involved in domestic violence, reach out and let's get them the assistance that they need. Don't give up on them. It's a hard situation for them to get out of, and sometimes they can't even see a way out. So thank you all very much. We appreciate your time.